Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Sports Talk with me, Ricky. What's going on, man? I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a beautiful day. It's great outside. Hey, if you could go outside to have lunch, do that. Anyway, man, Shedeur Sanders got drafted finally by the Cleveland Browns. But before we talk about that, the main topic that I want to talk about is the Jeff Ulbrich. He's the former defensive coordinator for the New York Jets. He's the current defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons. And also the New York Giants. Also, Joe Shine is also involved. His daughter is also involved on that. But Jack Albrich, he's at Ole Miss. What he did. He took the father has his iPad, the team iPad. He went in there, and those things should be secured. If this was a black coach, he would have been fired, right? If that was a black coach, he would have been fired by the organization. You see the organization came out to issue an apology, to make sure that the son issued an apology, all that stuff. So they did that on behalf of Jeff Ulbrich, who's the current defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons. But what happened was careless. The iPad should have, those iPad has not just game plan, whatever. But there's a lot of sensitive information on there that any team, anybody can get. So those things are protected, are password protected. So it's crazy that it wasn't password protected. Yeah, like I said, these things are password protected. So it's crazy. It wasn't. You had to protect these things, because if you're flying or whatever, back then you had playbooks. You had the book. And things change, with the book, people losing the book, whatever. So they give you the iPad, which is easier, but you're able to lock that stuff. So they said, the son said, oh, he went into his dad's iPad to take the information, because Shedeur Sanders is not the only person that he contacted. Right? He's called other players. There are other players that this kid called. But he's at Ole Miss. Joe Shine's daughter, also a friend with this kid. That Joe Shine's daughter, they try to squash that, but Joe Shine's daughter, who's a Giants general manager. He's a general manager for the New York Giants. His daughter also got players' information to send to the son to do the prank call. All right, a lot of them were in on it. Doing that stuff like that. Now this is, and of course he should be punished for that, because now those are, you call in somebody. Number one. The whole thing with Shedeur Sanders, there's a lot of NFL executive that I talk to. Again, I'm not gonna say which team or whatever. I'm not gonna do that. But there's a lot of NFL executive that I talk to who told me themselves that all the NFL owners. At the owners meeting, all the NFL owners told the GM, told the personnel to not have Shedeur Sanders on their draft board. Those are facts. And if somebody, like I said, I have recorded, I have a lot of stuff that those conversations we had those conversations. So like I said, I'm not gonna name the executives. I'm not gonna name them. I would never do that. But I know for a fact there's a lot of NFL executives who have told me, who said, hey, their boss, the owner those teams, I've told them to remove Shedeur Sanders from the draft board. They wanted to send a message to Deion Sanders. They wanted to, you know what I mean? Because if you look at it, all those, a lot of guys, you know, the Manning, a lot of those, Johnny Manziel, all those guys, you know, if you're talking about brash, it's like, come on, the kid believing in himself, and that's a problem. You know, Brian Dable, who put out there that, you know, Shedeur Sanders came to a meeting, he wasn't prepared, and he couldn't answer the question. Brian Dable was the same one who passed on the kid from DC. You know what I mean? So the kid from DC was in their building. They had an opportunity to get him. They didn't do that. You know what I mean? Brian Davis was the one that was the same one who told Joe Shine to give Daniel Jones a max contract. You know what I mean? Brian Davis was the same one who was okay with Joe Shine, you know, letting go of what's his name? He was the same one okay. You know, he was okay with Joe Shine letting go. You know, he told Joe Shine, so it's all good. You can let go Saquon Barkley. You know, and Brian Davis was the same one who said Saquon Barkley was not the primary focus on the New York Giants, and the primary focus was the quarterback Daniel Jones, who they gave almost $200 million to. And how did that pan out? How did that work out? So I'm interested in that. So Brian Davis said, you know, the New York Giants, when Deion Sanders, when you know, I hate when people complicate things to make themselves look smart, to make themselves look important. Dude, the stuff is, you know, I had a coach back in, you know, I think in college or high school, whatever, who said, man, listen, football is, you know, it doesn't need to be complex. You've been playing football since you were kids. So there's nothing that you know, since you were a kid, you were playing football. So there's nothing that I need to make to complicate you. I know your skill set. Listen, at 47 right now, I could still win a 4-3. Right now. You know what I mean? And this is not a, you know, you can ask my kids, you can ask my wife, you know, you can ask anybody. My speed is top speed. I still, at 47 years old, I still have, you know, I can still win a 4-3 with no problem. You know what I mean? I know Recal, Junior, Michelson, you guys could, in Egypt, you guys could, you know, could attest to that. You know, they can't beat me. You know, we out there, they try to race me, whatever. They can't beat me. You know, that speed is top speed. You know, that's what it is. But what I'm saying is, those coaches understand, hey, this is what you do best. This is your best. I'm going to focus on your skill set. As a defensive end, not a lot of coaches know, you know, in terms of defense, how to position the player to be successful. You got to know, okay, this is a defensive end, linebacker, whatever, is a defensive end. Let me move him. No, this guy shouldn't be in a 4 wide. He should not be in a 4 wide. Let me put him in a wide 9. Let me know where to position him to him to be successful. So if you have a guy, if you have a guy that might be undersized, and you look at his speed, not so much undersized, because the game is changing now. With the you know linebackers right not 230 to 236. Those are linebackers. Back then, you know, I mean, defensive end right now 230 236 240. Back then, a defensive end, I'm, you know, man, 280, you know, 315. Those guys were different back then. There was a different mindset. It was more brute, right? But right now, you have the strength. You have a lot of things that, you have a lot of things, a lot of factor in to put, to look at. You know what I mean? So the game is changing. So when you look at all the stuff, you able to do more. You able to do, you not only you able to do more, you have, the coaching staff have to put you in a position to be successful. Not just you have to play, because if you line me up, you tell me, like I said, there's a lot of coaches that don't understand the concept. You tell me, hey, this is where you need to line up. Now you put me, I am successful, my success based on where you put me, right? I am better on a wide 9. Right? I am better on a wide 9, but you went and put me in a 4-eye. So by putting me in a 4-eye, I may not be successful there. Now this guy might be successful in a 4-eye instead of a wide 9. So the success, you got to look at where to put players. For I know it's a lot to explain to if you don't understand football, maybe I'll make a video to understand, to let you know what the terminology is, but for both of you guys who play football, you understand. I know there's a lot of women who watch the show, watch my podcast, so I'll make a video to understand, to explain what the 4-eye, wide 9, all the stuff is, the zone scheme, all the stuff is, what that is, but still, it's like, you gotta look at it, you put in the, you put me in a position where in the inside, there's a lot of 300-pound, 360 linemen. If I am, like the position as a defensive end at 260, or not me, but me right now, 305. I'm just saying, if you put me in a position, if you put somebody that's 240, yeah, he has the speed against, he's going in the with big bodies in the inside. He's not gonna be successful because he's facing the tackles, whatever. He's facing the guard, so he's better. Sometimes you'll be better off facing the guards than the tackles. Sometimes, you know what I mean. So sometimes you better off facing the tackles based on that. You know what I mean. But you see, even those offensive linemen now, those guys are, even though they're 360, but those guys are, they're working out. They have the strength, so it's different. Those guys are lifting 18-wheeler tires, grabbing them like it's nothing. So it's a different mindset. It's a different thing. So you can't match up brute with brute. You need technique, right? Back then, the linemen were big, but they weren't physical. They were slow. But the game has changed. The game has evolved. The game has evolved to different things. So it's like, growing up playing football, right? My success came in watching old Deion Jones. Deion Jones was a monster, right? So watching Deion Jones moves. So Deion Jones was the one that I mimicked my game on him. The foot, the techniques, all the stuff, how he's coming in with the forearm, he's swinging at you, and me, all I needed to do for my offensive lineman is blank. Once I got you to blank, I got you. That's it. So the speed I'm coming with, I just need you to blank. And with anybody, there's a lot of people who's not, but anybody, once you get a hand in your face, a forearm in your face, you're gonna blank. Is even though you have the helmet on, you know what I mean? You have the helmet on, you have the advantage, but it's a psychological thing. Guys didn't understand that, but I need you to do the blank. Once I got you to blank, I got you. So it's a different thing. But anyway, what I want to say is the whole thing with Shedeur Sanders, right? A guy who's, how many people has gotten their jerseys retired in college? He's got that. The kid was a top prospect. You know what I mean? Yes, he got sacked a lot, but the whole line at Colorado is not, Buffalo's not that good, right? If you look at you look at the most draft picks this year, wide receivers, that's Colorado Buffalo. And that's credit to Deion Sanders and what he's done, and that's credit to Shedeur Sanders what he's done as a quarterback to make sure that you get these guys the ball, to put them in a position. There's a lot of games they were fighting because the defense were not it. They were fighting these games. He had to put up huge numbers because their defense, the defense wasn't it. The offensive line was not it. So yes, he's scrambling here. Was he hit a lot? Yes. People say, he held onto the ball too long. No, he didn't. If you look at it, the moment as a defensive end, right? You snap the ball. The moment you snap the ball, the quarterback taking 1, 2, 3 steps to 1, 2, 3 steps. As a defensive end, my success rate is on your 2 count, right? So the speed, again, my success rate was based on your 2 count, 1, 2. You know what I mean? So you do the 1, 2, 3 drop, 3 step back, whatever, 2 step, whatever. But my success was on your 2 count. So I'm able to do that. I'm able to deliver all that stuff on your 2 count. You know what I mean? To be able to do. Yeah. So my success rate is on your 2 count. You do 1, 2. By the time you contemplating what you're gonna do, a good quarterback should already know what they're gonna do. Look at the zone read, how to, you have a lot of quarterbacks who stare down the receivers. There's a rookie move, and I see a lot of veterans do that. They haven't adjusted. They don't have the good coach, and also you got to invest in yourself to be able to do better than that. But you should you be able to read everything, read the field to know, okay, if my first option is not there, that's the wide receiver 1. It's the first option. If I can't get to these double team, I'm going to my second option, right? That's the wide receiver 2. My third option is the wide receiver 3. Then you have your tight end and the running back. Your tight end, that's your security blanket in case everything fell. Those guys, you'll be able to dunk to give him the ball. So you'll be able to do all that stuff. Shedeur Sanders, is able to see the field. He's able to see the field to know exactly what he's doing, right? He's done that. So a lot of time, the team that they playing, those teams have great defense. So if the team has great defense and their offensive line is not that good, he doesn't have the time for a 2-step, for him to even deliver. But by the time he hike, got the ball 1, 2, a good defensive end should already be in his face, which is what I was. You know what I mean? Like I say, my success come in on your 2 counts. 1, I'm already ripping. Bull rush, I'm already ripping to get out there. So I'm already out there attacking already, right? Or attacking the offensive line to know this is what this is gonna happen all day. You have to establish dominance, from early on to have a good game. If you don't, it's gonna be a long day, right? So I'm already, sometime, boom, contact is made, boom, yeah, hike, boom, boom, so quick. It's a one move for me. That push, boom, right? I'm out. It's one move. So you gotta do it on the hike, ball out. The minute the ball out, that one move is together, bam, bam, right? Which, like I said, I coach my sons and do a lot of stuff. That one move, you out. So now on the 2, the money, so the quarterback, the ball snap, he's taking, the ball snap, he's grabbing the ball while looking at the field to see where everybody's gonna be, right? So I'm already, boom, hit the chest or hit wherever I gotta hit on the guard or any offensive lineman, whoever's on me. I'm swimming, which is a 1 step. So by the time he takes his step, now he's pumping the ball right? I'm already on him. That palming the ball to put himself in a position to throw the ball before that two-step, I'm already hit. I'm already hit. Now his job now is to make sure that I don't strip the ball. So now he's gonna buckle up and take the hit. So a good defensive end. This is what it is, man. You know, so you got to know how to be able to do that. So, but Shedeur Sanders was facing a lot of that, where he had to run because now he had the speed to get out of that. You know what I mean? So if you're facing a quarterback that's not mobile, that's a sack. But a guy like Justin Field, Michael Vick, you know what I mean? Ronald Cunningham, Donovan McNabb a little bit, you know what I mean? Russell Wilson early on, you know, Geno Smith, shout out to Geno Smith with a huge contract. Shout out to him. You know, as a Jet fan, I used to see him, so I know, but a lot of those guys who's coming in, you see Jalen Hurts, all those guys, doing it, because they have that extra burst, that extra step to be able to, in case everything fell and break down, so they're able to come out of that. So when the defense coming at you, you have to be able to react quickly, right? Because you watching the field, you gotta make sure that you catch that snap properly, adjust the ball quickly, all in one move, and then to do your step to look to deliver, and then you have a defensive end who's as fast, who's already master your not so much the cadence to know, okay, I watch film to know. Okay, I'm on this tackle. I know what he likes to do. If I'm on this guard, I know what he's like to do. So if depend on the play, depend on the scheme, I can transition from a defensive end to a DT, a nose tackle, whatever, or even a linebacker if I need to be. Right? Now, do I like to drop in coverage? Not really. I don't. It's not my favorite thing. Right? I don't like to, so I don't care if you put me on the 4-wide or the wide 9. I don't care where I'm lined up. You know what I mean? I'm gonna eat anyway. That's what it is. I'm gonna eat anyway. But it just, like I said, I don't care. Put me on a 4-wide, I'm gonna eat. You put me in a wide 9, I will eat. But I would prefer in a wide 9, but it doesn't matter to me. You know what I mean? Dropping in coverage, I would prefer to not do it, but I would still do it. You know what I mean? I will still do it because that's what it is. It's not about me. It's the team. It's a team success. But I know that I like to establish that dominance first. You know the pressure's coming. So even when I drop back in coverage, you don't know. You're gonna think I'm still coming. The voice is still there. So that's the thing. So, but a guy like Shedeur Sanders who's able to evade all these rushes that are coming at him, to make sure to deliver, to make sure that his receivers were successful. If you look at this year's draft, look at all the schools. Colorado Buffaloes had the most players, receivers, drafted in the draft. Look it up. All the receivers, a lot of the receivers that are drafted from Colorado Buffaloes. And that's something with Shedeur Sanders. Now, yes, I was disappointed to see this Pittsburgh Steelers. I live in Pennsylvania, so as a Jets fan, I'm a huge Jets fan, of course. But I do want to see the Steelers, the Eagles, do well. I live in the state. You know what I mean? But I'm saying I would have loved for them to pick Shedeur Sanders. I thought that because they need a quarterback, but then you draft a quarterback. That is good. You know what I mean? It's good for them, of course, in terms of rushing. He had more rushing yard and touchdown than Shedeur Sanders. Is he better? I don't think he's better than Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders is poised to be ready because he's done it. He's done it at Jackson State. He's done it at, he took a program, both programs that were in the bottom, that weren't even ranked and made them relevant. So he's done it multiple places. He's done it in high school. He's done it at Colorado. He's done it at Jackson State. He's done it at Colorado Buffalo. I think that if his last name is not Sanders, he would have been the #1 pick. But there's a lot of team the owners, according to, like I said, according to a lot of general managers, a lot of executives that I talk to, have told me, their boss, the owners of the NFL owners, have told them to remove Shedeur Sanders from the draft board because they say, oh, he's too cocky and we can't control him. So, like I said, Deion Sanders when the Giants, the Giants he had a visit where the New York Giants told him, they give him this dictionary to pass their psychological tests. And he's like, what pick you have? They told him where they gonna pick. He said, nah. He walked out. He said, nah. You won't be able to, I'll be gone by then. And he was. He was drafted by the Atlanta Falcons. You know what I mean? Did a great job there. Went to San Francisco. Won a championship there. Went to in the 90s, Deion Sanders, went to the Cowboys. Won the championship there. Deion Sanders was a higher gun. He was signing those one-year deals because he was able to deliver. To me, Deion Sanders is one of the greatest, corner. One of the greatest corner ever. I love Ronnie Lott. Seeing Ronnie Lott, got hurt in the game. His fingers was dangling. Ronnie Lott took a scissor and cut his finger. And and went back in the game, which was ridiculous. It's just crazy. Now, I was playing football in the snow. I tackled, I sacked the quarterback and the running back who was trying to block me. I took both of them down. So while we were rolling around, the running back cleats, he had those metal cleats. Back then things were a little different or whatever. So he had those cleats. His cleat was like my fingers, got caught in his cleats, and as he was moving, my fingers was dislocated. It was just hanging on. You know what I mean? Blood was gushing out. I grabbed the snow, grabbed the finger, and yanked it back, and then went back to playing. I had 4 sacks that game. I was in a lot of pain though. I was in a lot of pain, but the pain was like, me feeling that pain. My adrenaline was moving, and I had to dish. I know I had an assignment. Get to the quarterback, and I make sure that those guys will pay for it. Both quarterback and running back. I make sure throughout the game they pay for that with the hits. There were a lot of quarterback hits. There were a lot of tackle for loss. A lot of stuff. A lot of hits on the running back. I tell you that. And those guys didn't work properly after the game. And and that's that. So you gotta be physical. But to see that players get drafted, Shedeur Sanders didn't. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous when there's a lot of teams who wanted, Baker Mayfield is super cocky, Johnny Manziel super cocky. There's a lot, Eli Manning didn't want, his dad didn't want to, he was drafted by the Chargers. His dad didn't want him to play for the Chargers. The Giants had to swap Phillip Rivers with Eli Manning. You know what I mean? They had Drew Brees that they were trying to keep, whatever, but still, we all know how that turned out. But it's crazy to see a black father do it. For him to, Deion Sanders, who play in the league, he play in the NFL, he understand the owners, he understand how it works. Say, hey, I'm gonna make sure that my son go to a good situation. Why would he not want his son to go to a good situation? The ownership passed down to the sons and daughters anyway from the NFL, NBA, or so on. They make sure they put their kids in a position to succeed. Why would this guy who play in the NFL, the same thing with LeBron James, why would you not want to put your, So the people who have problem with it, you guys are losers. You guys are deadbeat fathers. You guys didn't have fathers. You guys are just losers, trash. To have a problem with what Deion Sanders saying, he want to dictate where his sons go to school to play. Why not? Why would he not want that for his sons? Okay, this is what it is. I want to make sure my son's successful. I want to make sure I put my son in a good position where he can succeed. Why would you not want that for your kid? So it's just ridiculous to me. People are just, but it's a shame to see Jeff Ulbrich's son, Jack Ulbrich, who's at Ole Miss. He should go, he should be punished for that. For him to go to he said he went to his dad's iPad, but those iPads are protected. They're password protected. I'm not saying that Jeff Ulbrich give his son the passcode to the company iPad. Maybe. Who knows? But all I know, if this was a black coach, he would have been fired. The organization would have fired him. But Joe Shine's daughter also, there are people who said Joe Shine gave his daughter the number. He gave his daughter the numbers, but I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say allegedly. Joe Shine also, the general managers for the New York Giants, have allegedly given his daughter the numbers to prank call because allegedly Joe Shine was aware of that. Allegedly Jeff Ulbrich was aware of that. But I know for a fact Jack Albrich have called multiple other players. He prank called players before the draft started. And you see a lot of players with two phones. And those phones, to people who's never been part of that, let me explain how it works. That's why you see a lot of players sometimes with two phones. There's a number that they give to the NFL team, the executive, for them to call during the draft. Right? So you see they have a main phone there and they have a phone just for that. Right? To call them during the draft. While the draft is going on, that's the number to call. So nobody else have that number except the team executives. The GM, the coaches, all the stuff, they have that number. The scout, whatever. So they keep that in tight vests. They don't share that stuff lightly. So it's there. Hey, I know that you're gonna get a lot of phone calls from your main phone, but the agent usually handle that stuff. I'm gonna get you a second phone. This is the number that's given out to the team. So this is the phone. So when that phone rings, we'll know that this is the NFL. You know what I mean? So all the players, all they do is they look at the area code to know, okay, this is where it's coming from. Oh, okay, New York. All right, New York had to pick. Which New York team had to pick? Is it the Buffalo Bills? If the New York Jets, New York Giants, so there's three teams in New York. You look at, okay, who had to pick? If it's a PA number, you say, okay, is it the Steelers, right? Pittsburgh Steelers or Philadelphia Eagles? So you look at it to see based on where it's coming from, who's who's the call is from, who's doing this, who's doing that, right? They know who that call coming from, which area code, who's on the clock, right? Who's on the clock, who has that. You know what I mean? So that's what, like when the phone rang, they already know, okay, this is the NFL. Which is why you saw doing what's his name? He's a Jerry Jeudy, Haitian kid. Jerry Jeudy, when he was drafted by the Denver Broncos, they'll call him and his main phone was there. His ex-girlfriend, it was girlfriend at the time. She grabbed his phone, tried to go through it, and he grabbed it from her. You know what I mean? She tried to go to his phone to see, oh, he's on TV, he's focused on the draft. This is the opportunity to see all the text messages, who is he talking to. He was able to grab the phone from her quick. You know what I mean? But that's why they have two phones. The agent and all that stuff to give a phone primarily just for the NFL. So all 32 team has that number. You know what I mean? All 32 team has that number, and the only way you get that number, which all the stuff are passport protected, is you give it to somebody. And in this instance, whatever. I'm not gonna say. I'm just gonna say allegedly, Joe Shine gave the number to his daughter. Allegedly, Jack Ulbrich gave the number to his son, Jack Ulbrich, who went in, prank called 12 players. There were 12 players, that he called. Four of them went undrafted. 8 of them got drafted, but Jack Ulbrich who's at Ole Miss, called that number. And right now, he's trying to apologize. There's a lot of kids at Ole Miss that told him, hey, you better stay in your dorm. And right now, his dad had to get private security. You know what I mean? They had to get security to make sure to escort him from class to class, because he's afraid. He's afraid to get jumped. Oh, you know what I mean? You did the crime, and you're afraid to get the punishment. Like they say, you gotta catch this fade. You know, you out there, you thought it was funny, and you decide to record yourself to do all the stuff. You thought it was cute, and now you sorry. What are you sorry about? So I hate when people do something and they say, I'm sorry. How? You put somebody in the face and you say, I'm sorry. What are you sorry about? You didn't think about it. You know what I mean? You didn't think about it. So it is tough, but it's crazy for NFL executive, for the owners to give the Colin Kaepernick treatment. The same NFL owners who told every team to not bring in Colin Kaepernick, right? The only head coach, Jim Harbaugh, told when he was coming out of college, out of Michigan, to the Chargers. Like I said, I report that first. I report that 2 months before it happened. I said it. This is where this is the date, and hey, I said it first on this channel. But what happened was, he told the ownership, hey, I'm gonna bring Colin Kaepernick. If you have an issue with it, don't hire me as the head coach. And the Chargers had the ownership group had to say, hey, go ahead, okay, do whatever you want. But they were part of that collusion that paid Colin Kaepernick millions of dollars, because they were there to make sure that he didn't get an opportunity. They blackballed him because he went and took a knee. So there's a lot of things that they did to make sure that he didn't see the field at all. A lot of people can say, well, he had a tryout, he didn't show up, whatever. But you know what? What you gotta understand is, they told him, hey, we're gonna give you a tryout. The NFL, Roger Goodell, and all of them. And then the last minute, I was 30 minutes into where he was driving to the interview, the tryout. They called and changed the venue. The NFL called and changed the venue on him. People don't understand that. So now he's frustrated. You throw him off, because there were a lot of media presence there. The NFL didn't want to show the media how great he was, because again, they blackballed him and they had to pay him millions of dollars. So they didn't want to put him in a position where people are gonna see, wow, the NFL really dropped the ball. They didn't want that. So they waited the last minute, 30 minutes. Him driving to the venue that they scheduled, not him where he scheduled. They scheduled it. They picked that. Someone and the NFL leaked out to the media. The media was there. His camp didn't do that. He didn't do that. So changing the venue when he came in, yeah, he wasn't at his best because he was dealing with that. Wait a minute, and I understand it's no excuse. You gotta stay ready. Be ready, stay ready. When you ready, you know what I mean, you're gonna stay ready. So that was that. I like that stuff. You know what I mean? But he didn't have. By the time he come in, so the NFL blackballed to not give him a chance. The owners did the same thing to Shedeur Sanders. Hey, don't pick him. At the end, the general manager, the owner the owner for Cleveland told the GM and coach, pick him up. This kid is there. He said, enough. Jim Arsenal said, hey, no, enough. The kid is good, let's pick him up. We want to win, right? Because his camp saying to him, wait a minute, you give Deshaun Watson all this money, and he's never gonna. Deshaun Watson would never play football again for the Cleveland Browns. He's not gonna be ready this year. He won't be ready next year with the type of injury he has. So, do you want to win or not? So he said, yeah, go ahead, pick him up. So now the quarterback room is crazy. You have 5 people now because Deshaun Watson automatically removed himself from that. He can't play. So the QB1 automatically is Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco is QB1. Right? But how far can Joe Flacco get you? So now when you look at it, you need a competition for QB2, 3 and 4. 3 and 4 is between the 2 rookies they just drafted. When you 3 and 4, not much rep you getting. People don't understand. You're not getting much rep. So how when you're the 3rd string quarterback, you're not getting rep. 4th string, you're not getting rep. So now the 2 rookies gonna batter that out to put it out there. So now they have to see something, not just on the field, right? But in the classroom, the preparation from Shedeur Sanders to say, hey, you're gonna be the starting quarterback. So it doesn't start from the field. The preparation from everything. When you come in, when you leave, how well you're able to pick up the playbook. The playbook is complex. If they have a good coach, they're able to simplify things for the rookie. Let him play football. Simplify things for him, but you had to determine that he's on day 1 in September. He's gonna be your QB1. So if he's not gonna be your QB1, it's gonna be, hey, this is the playbook. Pick up the playbook. So let's see what happens if they, but you have to put him in a position to be successful. If not, you're gonna have to cut one of them. You just waste a draft pick, And it's gonna be tough. And look at that right now. Shedeur Sanders he has a huge following. He has a huge following who decide, hey, we're gonna boycott the NFL, right? We're not gonna buy his jersey for the NFL. So Shedeur Sanders right now, with his merch, he's once he get his number, once he has his NFL number, his jersey number. So there's a lot of team on. There's a lot of people. You already have 3 million people visited his website. Shedeur Sanders' website has 3 million visitors. You know what I mean? That already already made orders for his jerseys. They're boycotting the NFL. They tell the NFL, we're not gonna purchase the jerseys from you. We're gonna purchase on his website. So he's gonna make his own jerseys. The NFL, the Cleveland Brown jersey that he has at the quarterback, the one they issued to him. That's gonna be. He's gonna market. He's gonna put that online. They're gonna sell it. So when you go to the games, you're gonna see so many Shedeur Sanders jersey on that they didn't purchase from the NFL shop, from the team shop. It was purchased online on Shedeur Sanders' website. So he's gonna make money. He's gonna make more money when you buy his merch on his website instead of buying it from the team stores. And you know those things are expensive. So, hey, at the end of the day, I do think that Jack's Ulbrich, you know what I mean, it should, you know, it should be, I'm not saying it should be some jail time, but it should be fine, at least $5 million. Take, you know what I mean, hey, cost the father some money, cost the family some money. You know what I mean? Because it's ridiculous. That should have never happened. For you to decide to go to your stuff and do that. You know, I think the Giants as well should be fine. George Shine should be fine. Jeff Ulbrich should be fine. And both the son and the daughter should be fine. Take $5 million from them. Because, hey, don't forget the $50,000. I hate those fines. You fine somebody for $10,000, $20,000, they're multi-millionaires. And if you fine them $5 million, I bet you they won't do that again. 50,000 people say, oh, it's whatever. But it is what it is, man. You know what I mean? So, anyway, man, you know, I'm looking forward to the NFL season. I'm looking forward to my New York Jets. You know, I'm looking forward to my Yankees, who's doing well. Orlando Magic, man, hey, you did your best. You did your best. Boston is a powerhouse. You don't have enough. Wagner can't, you know, and is on and off. Ben Carroll is consistent, but he needs somebody else. I think that it's a time Orlando Magic should just go all in with Milwaukee Bucks for Giannis. Because when you look at it, Milwaukee Bucks don't have a draft pick in the first round. They don't have a draft pick. They don't own it until 2030. 2029, 2030. You need players. You need draft picks. Damn later, all those guys, when you look at in terms of, you know, free agents. So all those guys are free agents, right? So what are you gonna do? If all these guys are free agents, you need, you know, like, what's gonna convince Giannis to not request a trade? Yes, his dream is to play in LA, New York, those big markets, but to give him an opportunity to go pair up, you know what I mean? Woo! You put him with Ben Carroll. I would love that. As an Orlando Magic fan, I would love that, to have Giannis playing with Ben Carroll. And you go and draft a big. Not those lanky dudes, man. I want, you know, a rim protector, a true rim protector. That can come in a 7-footer, that can come in athletic 7-footer, a true rim protector. Not a, I ain't want to waste time on the Woody Gobert. I ain't want to waste time on all those guys, man. Come on. You know what I mean? Jackson and all those guys. You're 7-footer. Those guys, you know, it's like, I get them out of there, man. Waste of time. You tall for nothing. Tall for nothing, man. That's what it is. By the time I'm looking up at you, you can't even play the game right. You should be a rim protector. And they're not. So, you know, it is disappointing for, you know, for my team to watch Boston just walk over Orlando like that. Hey, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. And I'm looking forward to see. I'm sorry. I'm not going to edit. I'm going to leave it as is. Right? So what happened when you wake up early to have to work, man? You know, about 5 a.m. You know, but hey, I'm looking at it. The Lakers, this is a time for Luka and LeBron, their entire Laker team, to come out like gangbusters. Come out like gangbusters, whoop on Minnesota. Those guys are physical. They play physical with you. I thought that the pace was there. Game one, you saw what they're about. They're a physical team. They come in and punch you in the mouth and you just taking it. Game two, I said, okay, you got a punch in the mouth, you know this is what it is. Nah, they were still scared. LeBron, all those guys playing scared. So they lost. Finally, all right, you know, you won a game. Like, come on. You won a game. I was hoping that, hey, you'll go 2-2. You're 1-1, 2-1. I'm hoping, okay, you're gonna go 2-2 right here, tie it up. No, you're 3-1. Now, if anybody can come down from 3-1, it's LeBron James. He's the only one who's done it. No, in the history, he's the only one who's done it when his team was down. But you need all. Listen, the whole coming in to the arena 5-6 hours before to work out, do all that stuff. LeBron needs to stop that because I'm not, you tire yourself out anyway. So enough for that. But I think that him and Luka, Austin Reeves need to attack the basket at every level. They're gonna be physical. Attack the basket, take the foul, take the hit. But be physical. Come out of force. Those dogs come out, hit it. Put that knee on their chest. That's what I do. Hey, okay. You're gonna occupy the paint? All right. I'm coming to dunk on you. That knee gonna hit your chest. If not my elbow, I'm coming down. Boom. I need you to clear out. I need you to think twice. So LeBron at 6'9", 280, 260, whatever, he needs to be a force in game 5. Luka got to protect the ball. Luka does not protect the ball. And I've said this many times, when he was in Dallas, I said, hey, this ball handling is trash. And people thought I was hating on him. No, I wasn't. You didn't see it much. You didn't see it because Dallas games were not prime time. When you playing for the Lakers and you're alongside LeBron James, all the games gonna be prime time. You're gonna be on TV a lot, and you're gonna be exposed. Now people looking, oh wow, Rick was right. Of course I was, and I'm still right. So he got to be able to protect the ball better. The turnovers can't be there. LeBron James, those turnovers, those careless passes, you can't pass the ball like that. You're passing the ball like here. There's no thought. There's nothing. Come on, man. Now looking at the game, the other day on Sunday, LeBron was I'm not gonna say he was the main reason they lost, but I give him 75% blame. I would say 80% blame. Right? You took that 3 where you didn't have to take the 3. Luka passed you the ball, the clock's running down. You still got time. Attack the basket. But no, he's scared. He was scared to go to the paint. He took an ill-advised 3 that didn't even go anywhere. Right? That didn't even go anywhere. You had an opportunity to do some stuff. You didn't do it. Now the referees, the league office issued an apology to the Lakers. One, when they claimed the ball went out of bounds on LeBron James with Anthony Edwards. They said LeBron touched the ball first. No, he didn't. They apologized for that. They apologized for when he died, he dove to the floor with Anthony Edwards. they let the ball out on him. On LeBron James, it wasn't. So, and they apologized for a couple calls on Luka Doncic that they should have called. They apologized on for LeBron James. There's a few calls they should have called. But how much you gonna take? Those referees, a lot of those referees are paid. A lot of those referees are paid to call the game against the Lakers. So how long is the league? Okay, because what I want to ask the league is, what is a playoff without LeBron James? What is that going to look like? We already seen that movie before. The finals last year was the lowest in the history of the NBA. Back then, you didn't have that much team. The lowest in the history of the NBA. So who's gonna watch those games? I'm not watching it. I love a great game. My team, Orlando Magic's not there. I'm not wasting time watching the NBA Finals. So who cares? It's like, come on, low rating. Nobody's gonna care about it. When LeBron James playing, it's lights out. People are buying tickets. Those tickets are expensive. But when he's not playing, people lose interest quickly. And I'm one of them. I don't waste time on that. Because you want to see greatness. You know what I mean? And I've said this many times, man. People keep comparing LeBron to Michael Jordan. LeBron's in a league on his own, man. Michael Jordan should be compared to damn Leonard, Anthony Edwards, those guys. Those are who you should be comparing. But Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, those are the players. LeBron James above all of that nonsense. But anyway, man, sports talk. Like, subscribe, and share, man. Peace out. I hope you're having a blessed day. I am, as I said, if you could sit outside to have lunch, do so. I just want to sit outside, enjoy dinner. Why not? Why not? It's worth it, man. To enjoy dinner, whatever, with the family. Why not? Anyway, man, sports talk. Like, subscribe, and share, man. Peace out. Like, subscribe, and share.